I failed. Now I'm recording. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. For y'all that are watching live, sorry you had to watch it double start. Uh, but yeah, this is going to be a chock full of news morning. Also, a limited time constraint, not crazy limited, but I've got to go speak at a camp in an hour and a half. This is officially my third week of summer camp for the summer, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm tired. Uh, tired. This has been the longest week and potentially hardest week, but it's not been a bad one. It's just long. And this is the week that I've had to speak the most, on top of everything else. So it's been a vibe. But I hope y'all are doing well. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, head on over to, or you can obviously watch it there. I'll be in the comments there. Also, if you'd like to watch on our TikTok channel, we have a newer Faith and Fandom TikTok, and you can watch and comment there. And always glad to interact and discuss stuff as we're going through that. But lots of news. I think we have 60 news stories to cover, and then whatever we roll for scripture later today. Um, I'm less than 1 week away from GalaxyCon Raleigh, which is my biggest show of the year, and can say this officially here, um, that this will be the first time in 13 years of doing, let's say 12 and a half years of doing cons, that I won't be having shirts at my booth. Um, by the time GalaxyCon rolls up, I will officially be out of doing shirts. I will have stickers of all the shirts designs, and I will also think of some other things to keep, including some of the stuff that was in the shirt design, but I will be out of the shirt, uh, not business, but I'm done with shirts. So if you have one of the Faith and Fandom shirts, congratulations. It's now officially limited edition, even though it's been made for the my daughter Carmen's entire lifetime. But yeah. All right, let's hit some news and roll with everything. Well, that's good coffee. The U.S. Treasury has officially begun minting $1 gold coins, uh, featuring President Donald Trump's portrait, for the 250th anniversary of America. And yeah, so they've officially started printing $1 250th edition gold coins with Trump's face, if that's something you want. Kelly, good morning, bro. Hope you're doing well, man. Um, but yeah, Trump's face on the $1 coin. Sorry, I was getting my window in the right place. Uh, the Absolute Green Arrow comic book, which has been a surprise hit, for DC Comics, has officially been extended to 12 issues. The book was only going to be initially six, and it's just been so well received that it is now officially going up to 12. Now, me personally speaking, uh, I feel like this is the second best Absolute book per capita. I believe Absolute Wonder Woman is better than Absolute Batman, and I would put this one above Absolute Batman. But that's just me. I know that's not for everybody. Speaking of Batman, the Batman Part 2 has officially been delayed to 2028, February 18th, 2028. This is the third or fourth delay for the Batman 2, but Robert Pattinson is actively filming it right now. Tristan, good morning, man. Um, Tristan says Absolute Green Arrow is mad. Yes. Um, but this will be the third or fourth delay for the Batman Part 2. Um, I'm just happy we got the Penguin. It was a good show. Mattel will officially be selling the Gem Bro Skeletor action figure. So if that's something you want for your general quality of life, you can pick up the Jimbro Skeletor action figure um, with weights and purple sleeveless shirt. AEW wrestling organization is suing the production company behind the movie Queen of the Ring for more than $105,000 in sponsorship fees for promoting the film that are overdue. Um, AEW was originally contracted for $305,000 in promotion, and they're suing for the latter third of this. I also did not know anything about Queen of the Ring and never saw AEW promote it, but whatever. Zolo, boy, I'm going to slaughter his name. Mariduena, the actor behind Blue Beetle and the kid from Cobra Kai, and now live action Ace, Luffy's brother, will be returning to the DC world as Blue Beetle in Man of Tomorrow. Uh, as he'll probably be involved somewhere between the Justice Gang and Superman, but Zolo will be returning as Blue Beetle in Man of Tomorrow, which is nice. If you have not been aware, sorry, there is a Far Cry TV series heading to FX from Rob Mack, the dude from It's Always Sunny. He was also Ryan Reynolds' partner in Welcome to Wrexham. Rob Mack will be producing the series as an anthology series, just like the game. But they have been adding cast members as it's been going on. Sad adults pretending. Hold on, let me see what you're saying. Uh, let's see. Pine One Dog says, if your religion is so cool, why do you have to hide it in pop culture? That's a perspective. I actually just love pop culture and I love Jesus and nothing hiding, but appreciate you, man. Um, Steve Buscemi will officially be joining the cast of Far Cry in the first season. Each season will be a different storyline, but this one will be that. Judah and the Lion. Cassidy says, Grand Rising, friend. That's a nice way of saying good morning. Good Grand Rising, Cassidy. Judah and the Lion were officially featured uh, with Ben Stiller and FIFA for the World Cup on a commercial promoting the World Cup and the World Cup final. Judah and the Lion, if you're not aware, is one of my favorite bands, and they've been through some stuff and some highs and lows and ups and downs. But their song "Maybe the Best Is Now" was officially featured in the World Cup promo with Ben Stiller. Now, super duper fun fact on this, I'm on that track. They recorded the background vocals of the crowd at the Wilmington, North Carolina show. And so I am officially singing in the World Cup promo with Judah and the Lion. So Merry Christmas. That's fun. But I'm always happy to see Judah and the Lion that, and they've had a really good track record of ending up in sports commercials. So good for them as a band. The original voice of Max Goof has passed away. Uh, Dana Hill was the original voice of Max Goof on Goof Troop. She also played on Darkwing Duck a little bit, but she was the original Max Goof in Goof Troop, and Dana Hill uh, has passed away. 12 states are currently suing Paramount to block the $111 billion merger between Warner Brothers and Paramount. They're claiming that it's an unlawful merger of these two entertainment behemoths would lead to higher prices, lower quality, and less content for film and television. So, 12 states are suing There, Cassidy says I better see my royalties. Yeah, my royalties for not even signing paperwork. I've been in music before. I've been in music videos. I'll just take the little bit of fun that goes with it. But I am excited, and is I would just like them to not fully nosedive into darkness and chaos after their last album. But it's, we'll see where it goes. Gordon Cormier, who is the young man who plays Aang in the live action Last Airbender, was interviewed recently to ask how would the team Avatar deal with Luffy from One Piece. And Aang, with zero hesitation and zero pride, said that Luffy would solo the entire team Avatar, which is probably accurate. Um, but there we go. Um, Cassidy says, I agree. Why do monster companies need to become bigger just to make everything even more cookie cutter? That's a whole vibe, Cassidy, and everybody else's life is affected by that. One thing just wanted to point out on a news story, I was featured in an interview with Voyage Raleigh, which is a online magazine about lifestyles in North Carolina and arts and things like that. If you want to check it out, I did post it in the socials. Stephen, good morning, dude. But if you'd like to check it out, I am in a Voyager Raleigh article on taking risks and telling stories. So if you need a link to that, holler at me. But if you just check the socials, you'll probably see it. Um, in London, Pitbull set a Guinness World Record for having the most people in bald caps in one place. At Pitbull's recent London show, enough people showed up in bald caps to officially set a Guinness World Record. So, congratulations, Pitbull. You may not have the highest quality music or anything more than just a vibe, but you officially have that and now a Guinness World Record. In other news of just worlds crossing over, Damian Priest from the WWE is officially voicing the Hood in Marvel Rivals. The real news. That's a great lead. But yeah, Damian Priest voicing the Hood in Marvel Rivals. I don't know about the real news, man. Um, Actor Sam Neill, the star of Jurassic Park, has passed away at the age of 78, and his family clarified later this week that he was cancer-free when he passed away. I know everybody goes to him for Jurassic Park, but I always see Event Horizon in my head. Um, because that's the movie that I think I watched him the most in, because I watched Event Horizon more than I watched Jurassic Park. Uh, the world of indie comic books officially got a shakeup this week as one of the top brands and branches for independent comic creators closed with no ceremony or warning this week. Comics Wellspring officially suspended operations this week and refunded orders of anyone that had placed orders for comics with them. Now, if you've never had to make your own comic book, there's probably about five companies out there to work with that I'm familiar with. Comics Wellspring is one of the most used by independent artists, and Comics Wellspring officially shut their doors. In fact, my comic book, Flockward, and the comic book I wrote for previously, Ace Blade, both were produced through Comics Wellspring. So we'll see how that plays out. Um, Daveed Diggs officially earned an Emmy nomination for his song for The Boys. The Raise Him Up musical number for The Boys officially earned an Emmy nomination. To Let's see. I'm gonna skip that. A daycare in New Jersey called Precious Gifts is officially being investigated. Um, People are terrible sometimes. Cheryl Ambicki, 57-year-old runner of the Precious Gifts Daycare in New Jersey, is being charged with 2 counts of endangering welfare of children by giving autistic children melatonin to calm them down so that it would be easier on her. Yeah, Jinkies kids. R. Kelly is officially asking President Trump to commute his sentence for child sex abuse convictions. The R&B singer is serving a 31-year sentence after being convicted of child sex abuse offenses. Um, and he's asking President Trump to commute the sentence. And again, people being people. Disneyland has officially opened up a Gordon Ramsay restaurant at Disneyland. So if you're looking for more ways to spend money at a Disney theme park, there you go. You can now volunteer for a NASA research job, where you participate by living out simulated analog missions for the moon and Mars in exploration. Where you would live and work in simulated interplanetary habitats for an entire year, and also do mock Mars walks and use a rover to explore beyond your base. These are positions that you can volunteer for, and it will be paid. Um, and if you're interested in signing up to be a volunteer simulated Mars and Moon explorer, head over to IGN, and they've got links for that there in their recent posts and within the last week. David Beckham will officially be joining Fortnite this week to cash in on the FIFA craze. Also joining Fortnite is Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman in a whole Gotham City Sirens pack. And because it's July, all three heroines slash villains slash anti-heroes are in bikinis or bathing suits, which is causing uproar from some parents that it's over the top. And I get it. That uh The Odyssey from Christopher Nolan officially drops in theaters today. Even though it is filmed in IMAX for IMAX, there are less than 45 theaters in the entire country that have the ability to show the IMAX 70 millimeter full film the way that Christopher Nolan filmed it, which is just kind of bananas. Um, But with the Odyssey coming out, another movie is about to drop to piggyback off of the Odyssey called Odysseus: The Fall, which is a 100% fully AI generated Odyssey movie, that's going to try and cash in on the fact that the Odyssey is in theaters. So the fully AI Odysseus: The Fall is dropping as well. Oh, and that was the other thing. Matt Damon is officially joining the Fortnite as well. So just all the delightful things. Covered Blue Beetle. Filming has officially begun for Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, with Andy Serkis donning his mocap suit once again. Andy Serkis also dealt with some political commentary this week for people that were pointing out the fact that the Lord of the Rings movies have a lack of diversity, and where this is one of those conversations that has been back and forth. Sam J.O. Melton, who has written some guest stuff in my books, also writes for Love Thy Nerd, recently wrote an article on Love Thy or on Lord of the Rings and diversity. But Circus said that he wasn't shoehorning other cultures in just for the sake of checking boxes, and which started lots of dialogue on that, because people do feel that's what Rings of Power did, and so it's a whole thing. But if you want to be involved in that discourse, you can jump right in there. Danny McBride, the Eastbound and Down slash Righteous Gemstones actor slash Tropic Thunder, is officially um, directing a brand new G.I. Joe movie, potentially starring Bradley Cooper. Danny McBride wrote a G.I. Joe script like 5 years ago, and it's now officially translating over to happening. I don't know that I need a Danny McBride G.I. Joe movie, but I also don't know that I don't need a Danny McBride G.I. Joe movie. So it's a balance. Kratos actor slash Opie actor from Sons of Anarchy, Ryan Hurst, has officially slowed production of the new God of War series with a torn bicep. Um, Listen, it takes a lot of muscle tensile strength to be able to be the God of War, and uh, he suffered an injury while filming Lord or God of War, so there's going to be a delay on the series with that. Uh, In the world of comics, Marvel is officially moving their headquarters from New York City to Hollywood over the course of this next 12 months. This isn't news, but I just want to say it. Matt Smith is coming to GalaxyCon Columbus in December. And it makes me wonder if I'm going to GalaxyCon Columbus in December. The Fury, the legendary roller coaster at Carowinds, North Carolina, one of the fastest and tallest and most intense roller coasters out there, has officially been indefinitely shut down, as it apparently has issues with its foundations and is no longer safe. I was just over there and I didn't ride it, but still. A Texas meteorologist has gained praise and also condemnation for preying on air for an area that was being hit by difficult storms. Meteorologist named Taylor said that I just want to pause right now and pray. And he went on to pray for people that are being affected by floods, those who are being, and he asked for God to give them strength and wisdom and peace and protect them. And, anytime someone shows any kind of display, they got hate from some, love from others, but it takes a lot of courage to do that on your mainstream broadcast. Smash Mouth is officially returning with a new lead singer, and their first studio album in 14 years. Uh, they have a new song called Better Believer and a brand new single called Had Enough. Danny says, "Can we have a G.I. Joe movie follow on movie that was from teased at the end of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts?" The answer to that, Tristan, is no, we can't because they've passed on it. I really was pretty excited about that G.I. Joe movie. But I think that Transformers franchise is dead now, and that uh anything we get will be a fresh start, sadly. I enjoyed the last one, it was fine. But Smash Mouth has new music, and their new lead singer is their original bass player, Paul Delisle. So, um, they're bring their new lead singer is an old band member. So, and if the world needed Smash Mouth ever a time, it's probably now. 21 Pilots is officially releasing their movie, uh, More Than We Ever Imagined, on uh Friday, August 21st. There will also be a watch party with the band live on August 8th. Um, hey, Matthew, good to see you, man. Um, but with that, 21 Pilots is also releasing an album of the Mexico concerts, more than we ever imagined as well. So my only hope slash concern is that they put the songs back in the live album that they cut out of the movie for the sake of time. Um, but yeah, 21 Pilots live in Mexico album and movie will be dropping near the end of August. On that note, also with 21 Pilots, uh, if you've seen them in concert or you happen to have seen the movie, you know that there's a good bit of theatricality involved in the show, and there's always a point in the show where uh, they do an air quotes magic trick where Tyler will be the lead singer will be performing, and he will disappear off the stage and appear somewhere ridiculously far away. In arenas, it's on the other side of the arena. In the Mexico concert, he appeared on top of the roof of a building across the street. Um, and while performing uh, in Ostrava I didn't even know Ostrava was a place, but while performing in Ostrava at a music festival, he appeared in a Ferris wheel behind the concert, and they had to wait for him to finish singing as the Ferris wheel took all of its time to get back down so he can get back down to the ground. Now, before you think I'm saying 21 Pilots is actually practicing uh teleportation, they do a thing where a dude because he'll wear a mask for one of the songs and then they swap out a stunt double on the piano like while Tyler sings from behind the stages as he's moving. So it's like a whole thing. We know what it is by now, but it's fun to see happen. The UK has officially denied entry uh to a uh MP convicted of the crime of biblical beliefs um in a recent situation involving this Finnish parliament member Päivi Räsänen has stated that she was banned from traveling to the UK after the British government revoked her electronic travel authorization because she's been convicted of having like polarizing biblical views. So that's a thing. Pastor Tony Spell, the pastor who went viral a couple weeks ago, um, for beating up the dude who threatened his family, has officially been court ordered to stay 50 feet, 50 yards away from the man he beat up. So that's an official court order is that he has to stay 50 yards away from that dude. Connecticut has passed a state capital policy banning religious groups from displaying nativity scenes. And now the First Liberty Institute is threatening to sue Connecticut for banning nativity scenes. Um, so that's a whole thing. Pastor Richard Reynaldo Garcia of uh, Gracia Church of Fort Worth, Texas, is being investigated for potentially stealing $3.2 million in church funds and using it for personal and business practices. I'm not saying churches can't have money, but if you got enough money to have $3.2 million sitting around and not notice it going on, you're probably not using your money to the best of your abilities. Just saying. If I buy name brand drinks instead of off brand drinks, my church budgets could be like, hey, sir, what you doing? Not really, but it's we ain't got money like that. All right, just double checking to make sure I didn't miss anything with these updates. I think that's a lot of the news stories. Oh, there's some. There we go. Minnesota has officially passed a happy hour for grandparents. a law that allows nursing homes to serve alcohol for a little bit during the day. We see you, Minnesota. A new outbreak of explosive diarrhea is threatening the United States. Taco Bell, and then I know Taco Bell is an easy joke for when it comes to bathroom related news, but this is that Taco Bell is actually involved in this. It's one of the reasons why Taco Bell has moved some fresh vegetables off their menu. But the uh, bacteria is called Cyclospora. Cyclos. Cyclospora. I probably sound like strong bad reading these things. I was, oh, they're your cyclosporas of foodborne illness caused by a parasite. But yeah, cyclospora is a foodborne illness caused by parasites that causes explosive diarrhea and other gastrointestinal issues. So, uh, watch your food. They're saying that it's in food, vegetables, and water, and probably caused by fecal bacteria. So I don't know how to watch out for that, other than fast, but be careful. Uh, Cuba has Cuba's power grid has lost power and collapsed for the third time in the month of July. Y'all are only on July 17th, and Cuba has lost full power three times, and it's rough. The UK is discussing the potential ban of social media for teenagers beginning on midnight to 6 a.m. Uh, and it will also disable features like infinite scroll, autoplay, and is hoping to curb the screen time usage of teenagers in the UK. Uh, it's not officially passed, but it is being like pitched. South Korea's government has launched a new app that allows victims of stalking to effectively stalk their stalkers. If someone has received a court-ordered, um, what do you call it? The thing where you can't get near people. Um, if they've received a court-ordered, I know what this is, but my brain is braining at the moment. Thank you, chat. Ellipse 158 restraining order. If someone has received a court-ordered restraining order or an ankle monitor, you will be given a code for an app that will alert you if your stalker is with anywhere near or the edge of near of the boundaries of their restraining order. And you will literally get a ping if your stalker is moving in your direction. Um, and thanks, Tristan. Uh, but that's an interesting route to go, and I don't think that that's a bad idea. I initially, before I did more research into the story, I thought it was just going to say that you could say someone's your stalker and then stalk them, but then that's just counterproductive. But I think that's a wise thing that if you've literally gone to the point that you've got a legal restraining order against something, there should be an app to say, hey, these people are endangering you. House Republicans have approved a measure um, to try and make Ellipse 158 says if they're ever famous, they're getting five mastiffs that attack on command. There's a dude in my Dungeons and Dragons campaign that can pull mastiffs off of his jacket and launch them into attack. And somebody said something that got flagged by community standards on TikTok, so y'all should make better choices. But this House Republicans are doing a measure to try and make daylight savings time a permanent thing. There had been talk recently within our government of disbanding daylight savings time, and House Republicans are trying to make sure that it's forever. I don't know that I have passionate feelings about daylight savings time, but some people do. Spain's future queen, Princess Leonor, has completed her 3 years um, of military training. Uh, she also just looks like a cool kid. But Spain's future queen has now put 3 years in the military service and has gone full Wonder Woman status. Over 559 babies in Peru were officially named after Erling Haaland uh, due to the World Cup um, and the World Cup's popularity. So that's a lot of babies named after one dude. That's just weird. Um, Argentina, Lynn says she just wants the time to stop changing twice a year. I feel you. I really do because there's that whole week and some change where like everything's off and then you try and get your body adjusted. And then speaking selfishly, being a pastor, daylight saving times, really make for hard Sunday mornings, both directions, springing forward or falling back. Right. And Ellipse 158 is like commenting on the practical use of daylight savings times. And I get it. I don't hate the concept. I just don't like the feeling. Um, but yeah, Tristan says she'll be a good future queen, and I'm with you. Argentina submitted a list of 13,000 names that they wanted banned from being able to come to America for the World Cup. Um, because these people owed child support. And Argentina sent this list of 13,000 names to say if they can afford to come to America and go to the World Cup, they can pay their child support first. And so Argentina sent that list of names to America. FIFA is selling chunks of the 2026 World Cup finals pitch. Okay, if you don't know what that means, the field. Um, FIFA is officially selling chunks of the field for the World Cup final for $450 per chunk. So if you want a brownie size chunk of the World Cup pitch, um, you can get one for $450. So I don't know if that's your jam, but it's an option. China has successfully landed a reusable rocket for the first time in their exploratory history. Scientists are currently studying a meteorite or an asteroid called 16 Psyche and what's effectively the opposite of the movie Armageddon. They're exploring the asteroid 16 Psyche not because it's a danger to us, but because it's got goodies. Scientists have identified this asteroid called 16 Psyche, which is orbiting. Um, Lynn says she doesn't want the pitch. She just wants to have $450 to spend on grass and dirt. Um, this asteroid is orbiting between Mars and Jupiter, and this one asteroid has been given the theoretical value of 10 quintillion uh dollars. And hold on, I'm gonna count. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19. If you didn't know, a quintillion is a one with 19 zeros behind it. They're saying that this asteroid is worth 10 quintillion dollars because it contains ridiculously large sources of minerals like nickel and other resources that if they were able to harvest this asteroid, they could totally change the entire economy of the planet. Now, I'm gonna just throw this out there. If we start harvesting space for profit, it's not going to go well. It's just not. That's how sci-fi movies start, y'all. We spend every week getting closer to the Terminator, and now we're about to start like getting closer to other sci-fi branches because we're trying to live those out as well. China evacuated over 2 million people as a powerful typhoon made landfall and flooded a large portion of China. Iran officially closed the Strait of Hormuz until further notice this week after U.S. launched strikes on Iran. Not surprising on either of those things. Oh, let's see. Covered all those. And I think, y'all, that's officially it. That's our thing. That's our news. We covered everything. Um, yep, it is. So I hope y'all are doing well. We'll go ahead and get our Bible reading together. So we're going to find a rock, paper, scissors, die. I was looking for this. Um, so we're gonna find a rock, paper, scissors, dies. All right, get ready for some ASMR. All right, rock, paper, scissors. Here we go. We have a rock, paper, scissors, die. The rock is Old Testament. The scissors are New Testament, and the paper is the whole Bible. So we're gonna roll to see what we're reading. Get this out of the way. So- All right, we got whole Bible, which means we are going to need three D20s and a D10. One D20, two D20s, three D20s, and a D10. Let's see. It's a D8. You're a D10? You're a D10. All right. Okay, let's see what we're rolling for today. All right, we got a 10. No, that's a 16. We got a 10. So that's 26. We got a nat 20, y'all. Booyah. We got a nat 20 on this. So that gives us 46 plus 2 is 48. Now we subtract 3 just to allow the ability to have gotten Genesis. So that is going to give us 45. So we're going to the 45th book of the Bible, which, if I'm not mistaken, is going to put us in Romans. Well, I got a math there. Um, no, maybe might be right. Um, so New Testament ends in 39. So 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. It is Romans. Hey, I know math and the Bible. Um, Romans has 16 chapters, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 16 chapters. Let's, let's see, how many chapters of Romans have we done on here already? We've done just Romans chapter 5. So we're going to roll a d20 and we are going to pick which chapter of Romans we're reading. And we're just going to, if we hit 5, we're going to re-roll. 8. Romans chapter 8 is where we're going to be reading today. Mark that in this notebook. This is Clever Fox's Bible Journal. It is a straight up, really well done Bible journal. But my favorite thing is that they've got like a tracker list that shows you every individual chapter of scripture. So if you ever want to keep track of what you're reading, this has that option. So Romans chapter 8, what we're going to do today. Then I'm going to hop over to the Faith and Fandom devotional journal, Razzle Dazzle, and head over to the Bible study section as we'll do this today. All right, so the date is July 17th. This pen is not viable. I'll get a pencil, it's fine. There it is. All right. July 17th. Book is Romans. Chapter is 8. And let's go. All right. So we're going to be reading Romans chapter 8. Hey, Carly, good morning. We just finished all the news of our podcast, and we're about to read Romans chapter 8 together. And thank you for the love and always being amazing and an inspiration. Romans 8, beginning in verse 1. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. I'll just throw that out as a note because I think a lot of times people only say half of that. People like to point out there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ, but then they leave out the qualifying statement of who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. So I think that's notable to say. And I'm looking for my pencil pouch because I want a highlighter, not a pencil on this. So let's see if I can get up real quick and grab that. Like having a highlighter, man. Oh, also some of my markers from art are in here that I've been looking for. That's good. Let's see if we can find a highlighter. It's not one. Actually, no. Boy, underprepared for life all around today. Need to put those markers back though. All right. Guess I failed. Pencil it is. All right. Verse 2 says, For the law of the Spirit and life, Christ, for the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God did by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh on account of sin. He condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled in those who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death. It's a whole mouthful right there. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Phew. One more time. Phew. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, nor indeed can be. So then those who are in the flesh cannot please God. Well, but you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of God dwells in you. Nor if anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, he is not his. And if Christ is in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. But if the Spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through his Spirit who dwells in you. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, and not to the flesh, to live according to the flesh. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Jared, good morning, man. Um, for you did not receive the spirit. Oh, hold on, let me back that up. I jumped the line. For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. Um, and I know this is a simple thing, and y'all probably know this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway because I'm a nerd and I love stuff like this. The term Abba here literally is the most intimate and personable term for father that you can use. This is effectively saying daddy. Um, and I know people like to make the joke of like Gen Z kids saying daddy God and stuff like that. And I get why it's funny. But the reality is this: being close enough to God to actually be able to call him daddy, to have that kind of childlike dependence on that, that's something beautiful. Verse 16 says, the Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, if we indeed suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth the glo not worth not worthy to be compared with the glory which we shall receive in us. Sorry, I'm gonna turn my notifications off here. It's being loud. Okay. Um, within us. Verse 19. For the earnest expectations of creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope. Because the creation itself will also be delivered from the bond of the age of corruption, or the bondage of corruption, and to glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs until now. Not only that, but also we who have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan with ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption and the redemption of our body. Good morning, Jess. What's up, Billy? Good morning. All right. So, adoption. For we were saved in this hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what? Well, for why does one still hope for what he sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with perseverance. Likewise, the Spirit also helps in our weakness, for we do not know what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself makes intercession for us with groanings that cannot be uttered. We can hope for that. Now, he who searches the hearts knows that what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes intercession for the saints to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. For whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he predestined, these he also called; whom he called, he also justified; and whom he justified, these also glorified. What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? Gang, gang. He who did not spare his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not also freely give us all things? How shall he not with him also give us all things? Verse 33. Who shall bring a charge against God's elect? It is God who justifies. Who is it? Who is he who condemns? It is Christ who died, and furthermore also risen, and who is given the right hand of God, who makes intercession for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulations, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? As it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long, and are accounted as sheep for slaughter. Yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am persuaded neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principles, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. All right. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to have TikTok not kick me off. Okay. I love that verse too. Romans 8 is a powerful passage overall, and uh there's a lot that you can really unpack from Romans 8. Um yeah, really is. All right, so main passage focus. It's a hard one to label. I would say the main passage focus is our relation to God and our identity in him. Who wrote it? Paul. Who is it written to? The Roman Church. Good morning, Roman. What are you seeking? Why was it written? It was written for information, education, and exhortation. When was it written? Romans was written in AD 57. And it was considered to be written from Corinth before. Um, he went on there. Symbolism present in Romans 8. There's a lot. Um, let's see. There's a lot of the contrast between flesh and spirit. Um, there's comparison of suffering and glory. Um, and there's a lot of symbolism in how they described love, or how Paul described love there. Verses that stood out, I had a lot, which is what I wanted to highlight. The difference about just that clarifying statement on Romans 8:1, I thought was important. Um, Verse 6, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. That's pretty gangster all by itself. Um, Verse 8, that those who are in their flesh cannot please God. Just heavy-handed, man. Paul with that strong right hand. Watch out. Let's see. Romans 8:18, I think, is also one that stands out. For I am considered that suffering the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which will be revealed in us. I think that's a good perspective verse for a lot of what we go through in life in general. Um, Verse 26, the Spirit helps us in our weakness with the groanings. Let's see. And also, I think 35. So a lot of verse, like I said, Romans 8 is just chunky with stuff that stands out, of the who will separate us. All right. What can I learn from this? Uh, how to live, basically. How to live in relationship to God, with this world, and how to live in relationship to God within this world, how to respond to our own sin, and life in Him. Let's see. How can I apply this to my life? Man, honestly, I think generally speaking, have an attitude of repentance, to embrace the identity of who we are in Christ, and to live with intention to walk in our new identity. Let's see here. Ronan, I think you're being a little bit harassing and discouraging, buddy. And you might want to back down because you obviously are speaking without any authority in where you are. Um, was anything hard to understand? I think anytime we truly like look at the full perspective of God's grace versus our authority, you're a priesthood holder. Okay, buddy. Um, versus our authority. versus our sin versus his redemption. There's just so much. It's just what makes grace so big. I don't think anyone that actually has any kind of actual priesthood spends their time on TikTok at 9 o'clock in the morning telling other people they don't have a relationship with Jesus. That kind of goes against the whole gospel and the ministry of reconciliation. But I hope your day's good, buddy. All right. Um, let's see. Pop culture parallel that reflects this passage. Um, this passage is so not a narrow passage. This is such a thick and girthy passage that there's so many things um that like are drawn as good analogies. Um and I am not righteous, not in my own flesh, not in my own strength. The only thing that is righteous is what Jesus has done for me and the righteousness he gives me. Gang gang. Um, let's see. I don't know. There's just so much. I don't even know if I could even narrow that down to any one particular thing. The most memeable verse, though, the one that I will say that easily pops up in terms of a meme, is where it tells us that the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit Himself makes intercession for us with groanings we cannot understand or be uttered. And I genuinely think of any time we're saying just like stuff that we don't understand that's kind of gibberish. So I literally go from anything from Patrick Star to the one thing that popped in my head when I read this was the Muppets. Mana mana do 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 do. Um that just translates stuff that doesn't make sense. What song would be used as the best soundtrack for this? For all of Romans 8, what song would be the best soundtrack? I'm feeling Ren Collective, but that's not surprising. Um, yeah, I'm gonna just land on Ren Collective, because they've got theologically juicy stuff about our identities and not being condemned, not being condemned. But I'd have to go back through their catalog to actually examine that. All right, so we have done our Bible reading. We have done our news broadcast for the day. We'll go ahead and leave this open because I'm going to need to do our closing verse before we bounce out of here too. All right, before we get to the end of everything, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for being the encouragement that you are. Mm, really is such a small screen. All right, Lance James, uh, Zach T. Wait, hold on. Is that a different one? Okay, yeah. Zach T, Roshan, John, Ryan Felton, Jess Luttrell, which by the way, Jess, your Antip uh cosplay from Wonder Woman, fantastic. Jackie Kraft, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka, and Tristan Birch. Fab Quack, I'm going to be sad that I'm not going to see you at GalaxyCon Raleigh next week. Dot Winston, Michelle Stewart, Miss Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Jamie Montgomery, Matt, or the Coleman family. Also, really glad to have Matthew Coleman pop by this morning. Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis, as well as the Reynolds family. Thank you all for your encouragement and the million ways you help make everything we do more possible and viable. This week, I'll just tell you guys this. I was gonna I mentioned earlier that I will no longer be doing shirts at Comic Cons, or at least for the foreseeable future. Um, but with that, I had shirts left after the last show I did. And so when I went to Alabama to do a Bible camp in Alabama, um, I gave away shirts to all of the summer staff that were at that camp in Alabama. And then this past week, I was at Camp Grace in Fairmont, North Carolina, and I gave away shirts to all of the summer staff at Camp Grace in Fairmont, North Carolina. So now I'm down to literally one small comics and sci-fi and love and Jesus shirt, um, one 2X, and then I think I've got 3X's of the majority of the shirts, but like only like five or six total. So I will be giving away the rest of the shirts before we get to GalaxyCon. But again, this will be the first time I'm doing a full show without thanks. And I love the shirts and I've really enjoyed having them. I've just run into problems getting them made for the last couple years. It's been a little bit rough, and it's the first time in genuinely 13 years I've had such a problem in production. And so I'm just gonna make way to do new things. And plus I put out three new books this year and I need table space. And like the show that I'm about to do, I only get 6 feet of space at this show, and it's a tight 6 feet. So it'll honestly free me up to be able to do a lot more with the 6 feet of space that I've got at this show without shirts. Um, and honestly, to do shirts for 13 years is a long time, and I'm grateful and I love seeing people wear them. So, plus giving shirts to camp counselors that are working all summer making peanuts is not a choice I regret. So, yeah. On that note, I do have to go speak at Camp Grace. I got to leave in 20 minutes to go do that. So I'm gonna bounce off of here. I would look forward to if I'm gonna see you at GalaxyCon Raleigh, give me a heads up, and I'll remember the Artist Alley at GalaxyCon Raleigh is on the fourth floor of GalaxyCon. We also have Geek Church scheduled for next Sunday. And at GalaxyCon Raleigh, I want to say it's at 11:15, and we have a Faith and Fandom discussion panel on Friday at 11:45 or something. Check the events that are on our Facebook page for that, but I'll be posting those as well as we head into it. But if I'm going to see you at GalaxyCon Raleigh, let me know. Look forward to seeing you. Love to hang out, get coffee, or a Korean corn dog or anything like that. Billy says GalaxyCon is a horrible event. Is it because your daughter met her boyfriend at GalaxyCon and then moved to the other side of the country? Is that why it's a horrible event? Um, sorry, Billy. Billy says Yahtzee. Just a fun fact, Billy's my friend forever, and his daughter was attending GalaxyCon and met like a nerdy choral singer on the sidewalk of GalaxyCon, and now they've been dating for 4 years, and she moved across the country with him. So, yay. Um, It's GalaxyCon's always a party. Um, but uh look forward to seeing y'all. If you're going to be at GalaxyCon, let me know. Be praying for me if you're a praying person, because it's going to be a lot for 4 days, but looking forward to it. Thank you all for taking the time to listen, for encouraging, for being here. If you are on Facebook Live and you want to hang out, we're going to hang out on TikTok for the next little bit while I'm loading these things before I drive off to camp. So thank you for taking time to listen, and just to share our goodbye verse, 3rd John verse 2. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. For I rejoiced greatly when brethren came and testified, or I kept reading. But whatever. Um, for I rejoiced greatly when brethren came and testified of the truth that is in you, just as you walk in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. But verse 2 is what I was just trying to say. I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. Uh, Facebook and those listening, thank you for taking the time to listen. TikTok folks, hang tight. We'll keep chilling as I do this. But thank y'all, and I look forward to seeing you all at a con real soon.